That's the guy right there.
What's going on, bro?
Yes, sir.
How are you, man? JT. Nice to meet you. Right there next to Nate.
Yeah, we're already rolling. It's super chill. We're already live and everything.
Oh, mad chill.
Yeah.
Bro. And you're mad tall. So you can, dang, you're taller than I thought you'd be, man. That's
Jeez,
crazy.
that's a unit.
I'm telling you.
Heck yeah.
He's a
Bro,
hooper.
welcome, man.
Well, thank you.
Thank you so much for doing this. This is the Youth Nation podcast. So this is for Elevation Youth.
Dope.
Bro, we're stoked to have you, man. How do you feel, bro? You're on tour right now.
I'm excited, honestly.
Dude,
Yeah.
how has it been so far?
It's been really good.
Really? He was
been
telling
really
us some of the his favorite experiences so far a little earlier, but
Yeah, it's
bro,
been good, man.
It's looked lit.
It's
Raleigh
been
last night was
busy,
crazy.
but good. Yeah, Raleigh was, man, they were a great crowd.
Dude, that's
Great.
so fire.
Yeah.
That's dope, man. Well, we like to start off with a little game normally.
All right.
Break the ice a little bit.
Do it.
It's like, how would you explain it, Elijah?
Basically, whichever guest we have on, it's like the format is if blank weren't blank. So if you were going to do if rappers weren't rappers.
Yes.
And you got to pick another job that you think they would do if they
Yes.
weren't rapping.
Okay.
So if rappers weren't rappers, first one up, maybe a friend, Andy Mineo.
If Andy wasn't a rapper,
Yeah.
definitely like a circus act.
Wow.
Clip that.
Definitely some Barnum and Bailey all
wild.
day. He's in the
Bailey.
Cirque du Soleil. I don't know, but he's a circus act for sure. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that. All right. Next one up. If KB wasn't a rapper.
If KB's not a rapper,
What
I
would he
mean,
be?
legitimately, I think he'd be a pastor or preacher or something.
Really?
But for the sake of this, I think he's a WWF wrestler, WWE wrestler.
WWE.
Yeah, I
bro,
think
that's
he's just
crazy.
like loud and
He does have that energy.
yeah.
He's got the energy for
him,
sure.
I'm putting him in the
I
ring.
like that, bro.
Yeah.
That's probably the best answer we've ever had
Yeah,
for
low-key.
somebody, honestly.
Yeah, he's wrestling.
He's
For
coming
sure.
in hot.
Oh my
For sure,
gosh.
for sure.
Oh, I see what you did there. All right, last one.
All right.
We got Ty Dolla $ign.
What is Ty?
Yeah.
I'm gonna make him a hairdresser.
Ooh.
Yeah.
He does have crazy hair.
He has
Yeah.
fire hair.
I'm making him a hairdresser for sure. I could just see him just being creative and just like, you walk in there and he's
Right.
singing and cutting and flipping.
Dude,
and
just doing it's a
Yeah.
whole
Chopping it
experience.
up.
glasses on, a whole
Yep.
line, just doing hair. I see it.
That's
Yeah,
fire,
for
bro.
sure.
All right, so
I love that.
you're on tour right now for Church Close 4, which round of applause.
Yeah, round of applause.
Absolutely
Church Close
fire
4.
album.
It's great.
But like, what's been like your favorite stop so far, like energy wise from the crowd?
Woo. It's tough because I feel like they've gotten progressively better. So between Richmond and Raleigh were like the best stops so far. I think the energy just keeps going up and up and up. And then of course we get more comfortable and used to like the set and the everything else. So it's between Richmond and Raleigh for sure.
Dang.
Yeah, they were both
Until
lit.
tonight.
Yeah.
So you're like,
Say that. Charlotte popping out.
I heard.
Charlotte
It's sold out, man. It's a wrap.
it's crazy.
Yeah.
So like, you're a pretty seasoned tourer. Like this is not your first rodeo. So
Right.
how does this compare to like some of the other tours you've done in the past?
I got it dialed in now. So it's kind of
Yeah.
like, you're just traveling with your friends on a bus. You learn how to live together. You just hang out. So it's been great because it's been real easy. It's like no diva energy. Everybody's just chill. And yeah, man, it's been great.
I
That's
love it.
fire.
Yeah.
I almost feel like you guys got the music stuff like down. I feel like it's more of like the rhythm of being like.
I mean, he
on
has
a
so many
tour.
bangers. It's like, how could you lose with,
Right.
with the set list you have? Like,
Yeah, it's tough.
yeah.
But I feel like if you got the rhythm dialed and like your squad dialed on tour, like that
Yeah.
probably makes such a big difference.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we brought the rhythm with us. So
Hey.
You dig?
Yes, sir.
That's love.
But yeah, man, it's been great. I mean, it's a far cry from like the early days with like an RV
Right.
and like
Oh, man.
you just laying in a bed and bouncing all over the place. So this is night and day better.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
That's amazing.
And like even they're saying like this is Church Close like 4. Like this is the 4th
Right.
volume.
Right.
Like Church Close I feel like has been, I mean, we came up on you. So it's like it's been a journey.
Sheesh.
Like this is full circle for me, but also like just from like all of us, it's like this crazy journey of like where did the inspiration for this even come from? Like whether it's
The whole
this
Church
album
Close
or it's just the
series,
whole
yeah.
church close
Yeah.
thing. Where were you? What was going through your mind? What was in your heart?
So when we first started, when I first did Church Close, like it was kind of like a thing, like especially you're young and you're coming into churches and stuff, and they're looking at you kind of like, you know, like y'all look fly. We couldn't look as fly as y'all look at the time. Y'all got sauce, man. You know what I mean? But back then it was kind of like people looked at you funny, like, are you really serious about God? The way you're dressed, the way you look. So it was kind of like almost like a statement of like, these are my church clothes. Like, I still love God even though I got this gear on.
Yeah.
But then it was also a message to like the mainstream because they didn't really know what to do with me. They were like, where are your church clothes? Like, where's your robe and your choir and your suit? And I'm like, I love the Lord and I have on exactly what I would wear on Sunday. So that's kind of the statement we were making. And I think it's changed now, right? That's not a thing. So with Church Close 4, it's more just like helping people deal with like church hurt and like even believing that the church is still something helpful and beneficial.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, that's really awesome, man.
Yeah, for sure.
For those of us who don't know, or those of us watching, how did you even get started like rapping, bro?
How'd I get started rapping?
Yeah.
There was a girl on my block. Her name was Kiana. And she was 12. I was 10, 11. And I wanted to impress her. So I made up a rap to go with my friends. My friends were like, they played.
That's so crazy.
Yeah, they played
That's
music.
Crazy.
Bro, it was raising people up from a
I
young
was trying to
age.
Real, bro.
You know what I mean? Risk
It all
game.
started with
Yeah.
the
You know what I'm
heads.
saying? So I just wanted to impress her. So I wrote a rap. And it didn't work. It didn't work.
It didn't work.
Yeah, it didn't
Took
work.
the L on that
You know,
one.
yeah. Shout out to Kiana. Hope you're doing well.
Look at me now.
Yeah,
you created a monster.
You said it. I didn't. You said it. I didn't.
We getting paper.
You know what I mean? But that's how I started. And just being a kid, like when I was a kid, you know, I mean, rap videos were on television. So
Yeah,
it was
right.
kind of like a big deal to like see these rap videos on TV and like, oh man, I want to be like this. And so I just kind of modeled myself after that. And that's how I started rapping initially.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
What
Bro,
made you
that's
want to go the Christian
insane.
rap route?
The Christian path, what's funny is that I didn't grow up in church. I didn't really, my mom grew up in church and
Okay.
she had a pretty rough experience. So she didn't want to force that on me. So I just grew up kind of trying to figure out life. And as a teenager, man, I just had a lot of problems. You know, I had a lot of dark seasons. And so at like 17, on my own free will, like I just didn't know what to do with my problems. And I just said, man, I'm gonna just try to go to church on Sunday. It felt like a grown-up thing to do. It was like, I'm gonna
Right.
go to church on
Yeah.
Sunday. I'm gonna drive to church. So I went to church, and this lady, I didn't know any, like when I tell you I didn't know anything about church, like I really literally knew nothing. And so this lady said, she said, after church was over, she was like, are you saved? And I didn't know, I was like, from what? You know what I mean? Because I was like, what are you talking? What does saved mean?
Right.
Like I didn't know the language. I didn't know anything. So I was like, from what? I said, no, I'm not. And she looked so terrified and horrified that I was like, yo, that's a big deal, whatever this saved thing is, because she felt a way about it. And she kind of like shared her faith with me, but I didn't get it. But a couple years later, at like 19, I really understood the gospel, and I had this spiritual transformation. And then from there, it was like, yo, I love rapping. What the heck am I gonna do now? Like,
Right.
what am I gonna rap about? So I just started rapping about the change I was undergoing, and it just became this.
Did you ever drop anything like pre?
Oh yes,
transfer?
so
like,
terrible.
Just like crazy raps.
Oh,
Could we find those in like the archives of the internet?
You would not. Hopefully, unless somebody
Hopefully
leaked
not.
them.
Right.
I have them on my laptop though. They're bad. They're bad. They're bad. They're really bad. But it's funny. Like I let my friends listen to them, and they're like, "Man, I'm glad God saved you."
That's
I
crazy.
feel like this was not it.
Yeah, this was not it, man. This
Yeah.
was not it.
That's being. You said there was growing up. You saw a lot like of inspirations on the TV and stuff.
Yeah.
Who would you say if you had to put? Now this is every rapper has a tough
Top
time
five.
answering this.
Oh,
Top
yeah.
three.
Top 3.
We can go top 5 if you want to
Yeah,
go
what's
top
your
5.
Mount Rushmore?
Oh my gosh.
Your
Top-
Mount Rushmore of rap.
That's rough, man, because I feel like there's these. So I'm like a student, right? So it's kind of like when you become a student, then you start going back and you start trying to understand the eras of different stuff. So it's kind of like you can say, you know, like you may be, I don't know, a fan of whatever kind of Nike shoe is out right now, but then you go back to like the 80s and you're like, yo, that was dope. I didn't know they made those. And then you start becoming a fan of something. So I think if I like have to like pick from all eras, I'm gonna go Andre 3000. I'm gonna go Kendrick Lamar, and I'm gonna go Tupac.
Wow.
So it kind of like moves around from era to era,
That's
but
solid.
Right.
yeah, that's what I'm going with.
That's
Top three.
solid.
That's heavy.
Yeah,
that's a
top
heavy three.
But people be telling me like, well, like I'll put Kendrick in my I put Kendrick as the greatest, and people are like, that's crazy. He's too young. I'm like, nah, it's Kendrick.
Yeah, it's
Look
all
at the
about
art.
eras, man. That's what I'm saying. It's like, because my uncles and stuff, they grew up in like the 80s and stuff, and they're like, man, you don't know about Rakim and KRS and
Right.
all these. And I'm like, I have to do my research to like understand what you meant to the people at that time.
Because you don't want to
know?
just put someone in your top 5 just because you know that that's what other people would want you to
Exactly.
say.
Exactly.
Because if you don't really understand like the older, because you weren't alive back then. Like,
Right. So it's
you
like,
can only
what
know
is
so
that?
far
What
back.
does this mean? Like,
Yeah.
you know, so it's
Yeah.
kind of, that's what makes it tough. It's like,
Yeah.
you have to do your research.
Yeah.
Say it's 2012
Yeah.
and you and your friends are in the car
Okay.
and y'all are just like on the way to the beach and you're like, you need a song to get everybody hyped. What are you playing?
A song to get everybody hyped
Yeah.
on the way to the beach.
Like something's like a
In
classic
2012.
rap hit.
I honestly don't feel like you can go wrong with Kendrick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I feel like his catalog is so crazy. I think that's gonna work. I'm trying to think. Because, see, my friends are so all over the map, too.
Yeah.
I feel like Kendrick is right up the middle to
Right.
where it wouldn't,
Everybody likes Kendrick.
yeah, it wouldn't be like, what is this?
It wouldn't be too lyrical.
Yeah, but I mean, but then on the flip side, yeah, that's tough. You know
All
what
you
I
need
mean?
is that. No,
Yeah.
money pay for me.
Yeah, right, you feel
That's
me?
all it takes.
Yeah, that's
Literally.
tough. But I mean, like, there's songs that are out now that still have that element. I don't know if they'll stand the test of time. You know what I'm saying? Like, I
Right.
just want to
Yeah.
rock is like, of course, that's gonna get everybody
Yeah.
up in arms and
Crazy.
you know what I'm saying? But
Crazy.
I don't know if we'll see.
Yeah,
You know?
for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So so we were talking about how you kind of like came up and stuff. What advice would you give to like the next generation of like musicians and rappers who are like coming up? Because we got a lot of like, I'm just thinking of even people in our ministry, even youth
Yeah.
like in our ministry who are coming up. They're starting to play on some Wednesday nights, or
Right.
like some of the kids are dropping tracks. Like what would be some advice that you would give them?
I would say, yeah, know what you want and know what you're trying to do. Because if you don't have a clear vision,
Yeah.
someone will create one for you. You know what I mean? If you don't have a sense of purpose about what you're doing, someone's going to create a purpose for you. And oftentimes it won't have your best interest in mind.
Dang.
So, you know, I feel like I've been to the top of the tops. I've had a #1 album. I've had Grammys, all those things. But those weren't what I set out for. You know what I mean? Like, I set out to like create music to express what was inside of me and what and the things that I felt like people needed to hear. Like, the byproduct of that was winning these awards. But once I won them, everyone else had different ideas about what I should do. And if I would have listened to them, I would have like ran my music career into the ground, because everybody had ideas about what I should do and how I should do it. So I guess for like young artists, I'll say, man, know what you're trying to accomplish and then like work at that. You know what I mean? Like, man, like really work hard at that particular aspect of it. Because otherwise someone's just gonna come in with a new goal for you.
Yeah.
Were you ever tempted to just go mainstream and like abandon like Christian rap?
I think, like, I don't know about like abandon Christian rap, but I think I wanted to broaden my audience.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I wanted to broaden the audience. I don't think I was like, oh, I'm abandoned, because it's like, I can't abandon my faith. It's like too much of who I am.
Right.
But I wanted to broaden my audience. But that temptation was always there, especially once I started like working in the mainstream more and doing stuff. Like, people were, oh man, I had like some of the biggest managers, you know, like in labels and stuff. And they're like, hey, man, first thing we got to do is like, get rid of this 116 thing. What is that like? And I was like, it's a scripture that's
Right.
part of what we believe.
Right.
And they're like, yeah, you got to do away with that stuff, man. And,
Right.
and just kind of like having these ideas about how to make me who they want me to be.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was a tough part, man, because that's like not being yourself.
Right.
How'd you stay strong through all that, like getting into the whole music industry and everyone's so corrupt?
Man, it's tough, honestly. Like I don't recommend anybody. Like if I'm being honest, it's not so much that it's like the music industry is the boogeyman. It's just that, the Bible says bad company corrupts good morals. Yeah. So when you're constantly surrounded by people, whether you're in the music industry, sports, whatever you're in, if you're constantly surrounded by people who don't have God's best intentions in mind, you're going to move more in that direction than you're going to move in God's direction. So
good, bro.
I think the best thing to do is like, don't do it alone, right? Like have a crew of people. Like I was very fortunate to have a group of people that went with me into these spaces and places. And like your core team have got to have the same values as you do. Because otherwise, you're off track. But it's like playing tug of war. If you're playing tug of war against like 10 people, you're going to lose every time. Right. And that's like the music industry, the film industry, sports. It's like 10 people like pulling you in the wrong direction. So you really have to bring people with you.
That's really good.
Yeah.
What would you say to the person, and I think every genre goes through this, even gospel, even recently people saying like gospel music is dead.
Yeah.
Or blank is dead. What would you say to someone that's like, oh, Christian rap is dead as we know it? Like, oh, that's corny. Like,
right.
That's old. Like, what would you say to challenge the idea of like someone is like, yeah, Christian rap is corny?
Yeah, I think, so for me, I'm like, then change the narrative. I used to care. Like, it used to bother me.
Yeah.
And people would be like, oh, it's corny. Because then I thought they wouldn't want to listen to me. Like, I remember I went to like an NBA practice and I was passing out my mixtape or whatever. And then they like someone was like, oh, he's a gospel rapper. And then people were like, you saw him like put the CD down. Like, nah, I'm good. I don't want to listen to this. And that used to bother me. But then I just realized like, no, wait, let's change the narrative. Like, let's make it to where they won't be able to say that. So now if they're like, Christian rap's corny, nah, because there's a few of them, man, like that are not. Like, you know what I mean? Just change the narrative so people, because that's what people have done with sports. It's like no one was checking for golf, and then Tiger Woods comes along. It's like, oh, golf is kind of cool. You know what I mean? Or
like
whatever.
I be putting people on you and 1K Fuse collab album, bro. I'm like, people say the beats in Christian rap are bad. I'm like, bro, go listen to that album. Like the beat selection on that album is crazy.
Exactly.
So I'm like,
so
the
much to
more
do
stuff
with
you do like
sonics.
that just rewrites the narrative.
Exactly. Yeah. That's all you got to do is, man, just change that narrative instead of like buying into it. It's like, all right, cool. Well, then, let me work on this. And
I think so much of what makes it, I don't even want to say relevant, because not all times like will we be that, and that's okay.
Yeah.
But I think what makes it relatable to everyone, like you said, like changing the narrative, is specifically with rap is sonics. And so like I feel like Christians here set apart, and they feel like we can't sound the same.
Yeah.
When I feel like what makes us set apart is where our souls are, right? Set apartness might not, it's not a proximity thing, it's an eternal thing.
That's good.
Because like Jesus was sitting at tables with tax collectors, yet he was set apart.
That's right. Yeah.
The Pharisees said we're set apart because we're in the synagogue. Jesus is like, imagine me being at the table and still being set apart.
That's right, man.
And so like, what if we're at the table with, I mean, you got to be from Metro Boomin.
Yeah.
But you know what? That
crazy.
song's set apart.
That's right.
Because
100%.
it's the context.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, there's something in that song that's gonna touch your heart. You feel me? Like,
Facts.
And so like, I think you and so many others have done a great job of like demonstrating that. And it really is art. It shows the power of art and the creativity of God in everything that we do, right?
That's good.
And so like, what would even to like a young rapper now that's like, what has helped you fight the tension of like being relevant without selling out?
Yeah.
Like what has tethered you to like, if I have to have an option, like I'd rather remain myself even at the cost of like quote unquote relevance.
Yeah. I think you have to be honest with yourself. And most of us, if we're really honest with ourselves, we want people to like us. Yeah. And I think that's the real struggle, is you got to get over that. Like, oh, I just want everyone to like me. I want everyone to think I'm great. You got to know that you're great because God knows you. You got to know that you got purpose and worth and value because you were born with it, not because you earned it from everyone else around you. So when you walk into an environment already knowing that, man, I'm wonderfully, fearfully made by God, then you're not trying to like earn everyone's approval. You're just being dope because you're dope. You're just creating because, you know what I mean? Like you're not worried about selling out because you're being yourself. But being relevant is like, it's being a good student of the culture and a good student of music and art. It's like, man, you know, a lot of times the problem for Christians is we copy, we critique, or we criticize. You know what I mean? Like we'll copy what they're doing, we'll critique it and say, you know, like, oh, well, it's not this or it's not that, or I guess criticize and critique are the same. But what we are not doing is creating.
That's it.
You know what I mean? Like we should be, like we have the creator of all creators.
Right.
Yeah.
Like why are we not the most creative? You know, everybody who's like super dope out there are just people made in God's image, and so are you. So don't be insecure about it. Like really tap in to the creator who gives everyone this ability, and don't settle for being second tier. Like I never want to be second tier. I always want to be like, yo, I want people to be like, this is dope.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
what is this? You know?
Yeah,
That's
100%.
bro.
That's fire.
All right, so huge topic switch, but obviously you made an absolute banger back in the day with Ty Dolla $ign.
Yeah.
How did you link up with him or like get that collab, and what was it like working with him?
What the thing about it is, like when everyone respects people who really stand for what they believe.
Yeah.
Right? Like when you're really like, if you're like a super gangster dude and you went to prison and you just like, this is who I am, people like respect it. Like, oh, he's legit, he's real. Yeah. So when you're like serious about your faith, people will respect that.
100%.
And then if you're good at your craft, they're also gonna respect that. So what I started to gain was just like a lot of people like, yo, man, like, cause people kept saying, you don't wanna go mainstream, bro? And I was like, nah. And then people just started to respect it. Like, yo, I respect him, man. He's like really good, but he doesn't wanna go mainstream. He's just doing his thing. And that's kind of how Ty felt. Ty was like, man, I love what you're doing, bro. Like,
So he came to you.
well, what happened was my producer had made the song already, and then Ty heard it. And then he was like, this is dope. And he was like, well, you want to do a hook for it? And he was like, no, I want to do a verse and a hook. He loved it. And so, you know, then we talked and we met and just became cool, man. And just like we, you know, had similar friends in similar circles. Of course, Kendrick has been a good friend of mine for years before he was even Kendrick Lamar. So we had a lot of circles that we ran in, and it just.
How'd you meet him?
I met Kendrick. What's crazy is he made this project before he really blew up, and he had this song on there called "The Faith," and he was wrestling with his faith.
Okay.
And I had more Twitter followers than him at the time.
That's
so I
crazy.
just like DM'd him.
That's crazy.
And I was like, bro, I heard this song. What are you wrestling with? And he was like, I said, because maybe, you know what I'm saying, I could send you some stuff. And he was like, well, I got questions about this, and this. And then we just started going back and forth, and then we just developed a relationship.
That's nuts.
And from there, just like, you know, just became a dope relationship where I never wanted to abuse it or be like, yeah, let's do music together. But it was just more like, let's be friends. He actually asked to do music with me first. And I was like, nah, let's chill.
Right.
Because I don't want you to ever feel like I'm only in this for what you have going on.
Yeah,
know?
that's huge.
Yeah.
That's so big.
Bro, that's crazy.
Yeah, man.
That's so sick. Is there anybody else like you work with that's just been like super dope? You got the Metro, obviously.
Yeah, Metro's cool.
How'd you
man.
get locked in with Metro?
Yeah.
So
that's crazy.
my manager, my GM is actually, so Metro's manager is, this sounds weird. Metro's manager is my manager's cousin.
Oh,
Okay.
So they're cool. And and at first I was kind of like, I was like, all right, I guess, you know, I'm interested. But then it just, once he started sending over the music, I was like, yo, this is crazy. And then when people started hearing me do Metro, then everybody was like, oh, we didn't know you know, and everybody started sending beats. Like my man 30 Rock, who did Roddy Ricch, The Box.
That's
and
crazy.
Everybody just started sending you stuff because what you start to find out is that a lot of people in the music industry, they either grew up in church or they're struggling and they want to like connect with God, but they don't have an outlet. So
especially in rap.
Yeah. So you become that person, and then they like start sending you stuff like and asking you questions, and it's a dope opportunity, man.
That's
it's really
insane.
dope.
I feel like we've talked about this a lot, JT and I, and all of us really.
Yeah.
If you go look at like, even from like a band perspective, say like you want to be super niche and talk about live bands, be like, go look at every live band in LA that's like Charlie's guys or like the Super Bowl, like people that played at the Super Bowl, they're all church kids.
Yep.
They're all church kids because, like you said, it goes to show that like there is a side of creativity that people don't even know. Like the church produces the best creatives,
Right.
and
Even the
usually
music
they're
in the
either
church, like the chords in the church.
yes,
Yeah.
Like,
like
that's what
and they're
everyone
either
loves.
hurt by the church and they feel like they don't want to come back and they wrestle for the rest of their lives, or they're nurtured well and they know how to live in both spaces
Right.
correctly.
Right.
And so, but it just goes to show, like, even just like logistically, like think about if you're an artist and you don't go to church, like you don't have an opportunity to get your reps in.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
But like
exactly.
if you're a worship leader,
Oh man.
you could, I mean,
That's where you
buddy,
get your
up there every
10,000
Sunday.
hours.
Bro, literally.
10,000
Yeah.
hours, man. You get good at it, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. And I mean, they may not allow you to express the fullness of your creativity because they have the songs that they want you to sing.
Yeah.
But you're getting so good at it that in your free time,
It translates.
you know what I mean? Like my man Joel Barnes.
He's dope. We actually had him on the pod too.
He coming.
Yeah.
He's literally coming in 2 days.
Yeah, he's about
so
to be here on
bro.
Wednesday.
So Joel, I heard a lot of the stuff he did like in the worship space. And I said, you wrote this, bro? He's like, yeah. I said, so what I knew is you're a good writer.
Yeah.
But I don't necessarily make the soundscape that you're using right now.
Yeah.
I said, send me some other stuff that you have that's not in this vein. He had tons of it. And I was
Yeah.
like, this is what I knew. This is
Bro,
what I knew.
yeah.
Yeah,
You know
this,
what I mean?
we're real close to Joe. That's
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
the
yeah,
dog.
yeah.
And what I love about it, and we're very big on this, is like art is art, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And then like there's art that is, I mean, it's all inspired. But like the same way Joel will sit down and we'll pick 3 words out of a verse and write a song is the same way. If one of us is going through it, we're hopping on and it's just like we're rocking a breakup song. Like
Yeah.
that's
Right.
just what it is. Like
Right.
art, like we get to do that because we have the freedom.
Yeah.
And the, like you said, we should be the most creative.
Absolutely.
You
For
feel
sure.
me?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's fire, man. I love that. So what on tour or regular life, like what is kind of like your daily like routines? Like how do you spend time with God? Like what
Yeah.
does that all look like?
So I try to like create a rhythm. No pun intended.
Shout out Rhythm, man.
I try to
Shout out
create a
Rhythm.
rhythm though of like just regular things because you're living 2 kinds of lives, right? Like your one is like your home life and then one is your road life. So I try to make them at least consistent as much as possible. So like on the road, what I tend to do is, I know I'm going to bed later, so it's fine. I'll wake up later, and that's just the kind of thing I'll put myself on. I'll wake up later, but then I usually will try to like go for a long walk. Like when I say long, I mean like 3-4 miles.
Dang.
Yeah, just because it's exercise, but then 2, it gives me time to pray, listen to a message or a podcast, meditate or scripture. So it's kind of like, man, I have that whole 3 or 4 miles to like spend time with the Lord and exercise at the same time.
That's
so it's
huge.
like 2 birds, 1 stone, knocked out. Then you come back and, hang with the crew, eat, whatever the case may be, and get ready for the show. And that's kind of the routine on the road. Whereas at home, it's way more hectic. It's way more busy. So I have to get up earlier to get some of the stuff accomplished that I need to get done.
Dang, that's crazy. You said it's busier. I would have thought the complete opposite.
Oh no, home is way busier, bro. On the road is almost like a low key. It's like a mini vacation.
No
Dang.
way.
Yeah,
that's
that's so
It's
crazy.
low key like a mini vacation. Yeah,
I mean, because you have a family.
family, business, multiple businesses, honestly, and then like mentoring young artists and helping
Yeah.
get like I'm behind the scenes on a lot of people's projects too. So
Yeah.
I'm in the studio a lot, just like orchestrating stuff and
Yeah.
coming up with ideas, marketing stuff. So it's like all of that type of stuff is happening while I'm at home. Whereas when I'm on the road, it's like they know he's not really gonna be available
Yeah.
to do that. So
Ah.
you know what I mean? They kind of like back off.
I feel
Yeah.
like a lot of people see that, right? They see the artist, they see the speaker, they see the keynote guest.
Yeah.
But like before all of that, like you're a dad, you're a husband.
Oh,
like
yeah.
for like how was that? Like how did you meet your wife? Like
Man, the Riz game was right, baby.
Yes, sir.
talk.
Nah, but
Did you write her song and it worked this time?
He was like, yeah, and I wrote that one and it went
It
crazy.
didn't work, man. I actually met her when I was like 18. We were in school, and basically what happened was I was not walking with the Lord yet, but she was. So I was kind of nervous about even approaching her because I was like, not nervous, but more so like she's too spiritual. I'm not Like I'm leaving that alone. And then once I had my spiritual journey and transformation, like we became like really good friends. And I really didn't, it was almost like weird to date her because we were such good friends. But actually that made it the best because now, you know, in marriage, it's like we just have fun doing what we're in Target walking around and it's fun. You know what I mean? Because she's like my friend. And so, you know, and then like with kids and whatnot, it just adds to the elements of it all. Like you're just trying to navigate it. You know what I mean? Like, you know, my son, like I'll get on Twitch and like he's getting into gaming and stuff like that. And then he'll jump on there and do stupid stuff. And, you know, I forgot those little things. I forgot, like, they're like, what do you call them? The stress popper things. I don't know what you call them.
Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Marshalls.
Yeah. I don't know what they're called.
Yeah,
but.
so I have to get him one of those for our Twitch because he's all over the place, bro. It's like, bro, you need something to keep your attention.
Right.
He's just bouncing around all over the place.
That's crazy.
So, but that's what I try to do is incorporate them into my life because I know I'm gonna get on Twitch and I'm gonna talk to people and hang out, or whatever. And like, I'm just like, yo, why don't we do a channel together? And then he just jumps in. And so, like, I did YouTube videos with him. Like, we did a mukbang and ate Chick-fil-A and just
plug the YouTube, plug the Twitch.
Dude,
hey man,
plug
it's
Twitch,
just
bro.
at Lecrae on YouTube. Twitch is Lecrae official. So come check me out.
Let's go.
Is that ever hard to balance the work life, being in the industry that you're in, where it's very like it's not 9 to 5, like it's like very like consuming to like do what you do?
Yeah, if you don't, like, I always staff my weaknesses because if you don't put people in place that can help you do it, you will be all over the place. Because most artists are like, they're creative. They're not like type A people. I'm definitely not a type A person.
Yeah.
So you gotta like have some type A people. I don't care if it's an intern, a friend, a personal assistant, something. You gotta have someone who's a little more type A just to like help you get your life, you know, on track. There's even apps for that now. Like there's like virtual, there's AI personal assistants. So there's no excuse. You know what I mean? There's no excuse. So yeah, so I just have other people like help me keep it together because otherwise, bro, I'll be everywhere, bro. Like for real.
100%. Okay, so to backtrack, Nate was supposed to ask you a question, but didn't want to ask. But I want to know the answer.
Just threw you under the bus, man.
So basically, being in the environments that you're in, around rappers, celebrities, influencers, whatever it may be, who have morals that don't align with Christianity, how do you keep your Christian values?
That's a good question, man. What I had to learn, and I didn't do this perfectly at first because, you know, it was a lesson. And what I had to learn was that Jesus did not hang out with sinners. Sinners hung out with Jesus.
Yeah.
There's a difference.
Yeah.
There's a difference.
That's good.
So like, I was trying to hang out with sinners and, you know, you're going where they go. You're doing what they do. And you're like, oh, well, we're just, you know, and then little by little, your moral compass starts to just fade away because you're in their space. And it's like, man, this isn't right. And then all of a sudden, you're like, you don't even know right and wrong because you're just in that mix. But then I started to be like, yo, I'm going to create the environment and the space and the place for them to come to hang with me and become the kind of person that they want to be around too, right? So that changed things is once I started like just kind of like drawing my line because they're not, the people I'm around, they're not like, you know, hiding the fact that they do certain things from me. So why would I hide my faith from them?
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like,
it's who you are.
Yeah, it's just who I am. So it's kind of like, I remember Waka Flocka Flame, you know, he comes to our studio and it's like, yo, you know, we don't smoke in here. And it is what it is. We don't smoke in here. And it was cool to just like him being like, oh, I respect that. Like, that's dope. Y'all just, you know, draw your line. And, you know, it's like, yo, I don't know, you mind if we pray before the session? You know, because we're going to pray before our sessions. And it's like, nah, go for it, bro. That's what's up.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of like, you know, he begins to see that level of consistency. And then we started having some deep, long conversations.
That impacts him seeing that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know
Versus
what I mean?
if you try to just act cool for him and do what you think he would want you to do, then he misses out on getting
because then you're not different than anything else
You're
he's ever
not
seen.
different, bro. You're
and then he
not
just thinks,
different.
oh, Christians just live the same as everybody else.
Exactly.
Jesus said they'll be known by their love.
That's right.
Yeah.
Not by like how relatable they are. Like it's this weird dichotomy of like we are relatable. Yes, we are easy to talk to. We are accessible. We are approachable.
Yeah.
But what you said is so true. And I've been thinking about it. It's like, it's the reality that people will respect you more in the long run for drawing lines and standing firm on what you believe in, because now that's actually the minority of the world.
Yep.
You know?
And they know who to turn to when stuff starts looking crazy, because they're like, yo, you really held it down.
Yeah.
And I respect that. You know what I mean? So, you know, there's certain things that's like, I let my guard down for sure to let them know I'm not just like some kind of religious prude
for sure.
whatever. You know what I mean? Like, I let my guard down, but also I'm like, bro, I'm just gonna be myself. And honestly, I'm a work in progress just like they are. And I think they can see that and respect that. You know, I'm not trying to be like holier than thou, but I'm also not trying to fit in and do whatever everybody else is doing. Cause it's like, I see it happen all the time. I see like Christians, it's like, oh, well, you know, we're going out for a few drinks. And it's like, yeah, you're going out for a few drinks, but then your one shot turns to 5 and now you're just as drunk as they are and you don't look different. You know what I mean? Versus them coming to like your wedding or your event and everyone is doing things in moderation and like decency and order. And it's like, this is different. Y'all are still having a great time, and it's not like you don't.
They're coming to you. You're not coming to them. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. So it's just stuff like that, man. And we found ways to do that. You know, partnering with Zaytoven and doing Let the Trap Say, man. We had this party in downtown LA at this clothing store, and we invited everybody in our world.
Yeah,
you know, so people could see how we get down, and they loved it. NBA YoungBoy just wandered in there, and it was like, yo, this is crazy. You know what I mean?
No,
but it was like, he came to our territory and it's like, I haven't seen anything like this. And people are craving that, but they don't know where it exists. And we get the chance to be that. You know?
It's a breath of fresh air for them, probably.
Absolutely.
It's like they get to come up out of the water.
Yep.
Okay.
Like, that's fire.
I feel like Zaytoven is like, I'm a producer, so I feel like Zaytoven's like the GOAT of producing all the time. Like his 808, like everyone uses the Zay 808. Like that's just like what it
Look
is.
at
Like,
you.
He's the GOAT.
He's nerding out.
How did you get tapped with him? Like how did you meet
Same
him?
thing, bro. It's like,
Through your manager?
No, I mean, it's like people just, when they know you're serious about what you're doing, like you don't even realize the people who will respect you because you're just doing your thing.
Yeah.
But like people have a deep respect for what you do. A lot of people don't know like Zaytoven is a believer.
Yeah.
And he plays in his church every Sunday.
Right.
So
that's crazy.
So dope.
He found out
tell.
like what I was doing, and he was like, yo, man, he reached out to me, he DM'd me. Like, man, let's do something together. Let's make some music together. And I saw like everybody was doing these group projects, like, you know, like Metro or 21 Savage. And I was like, bro, let's do a whole album together. And he was like, oh, say less. And he was all the way down for it. And we knocked it out in like not even a month. You know what I mean? We just knocked it out. And it was, but that's what I think people don't understand. They really will respect you if you're good at your craft and you stand firm on what you're about. And I remember running into, I remember Offset got in a bad car accident, and I DM'd him just like, man, I just want you to know I'm praying for you, And he was like, man, thank you. And then he was like, I just listened to the album you got with Zaytoven. I never would have known this was gospel, but it's so good for my soul. Because it's something I enjoy listening to, but it's like also feeding my soul at the same time.
Wow.
And it's like, you just don't know what's going on with people.
Right.
And, you know, we're so busy trying to fit in that we miss out on opportunities to like be the light and the salt.
Literally, like you were the light for him, and you didn't even know at the time
Yeah,
that he was
no
ever going to
clue.
hear it. Yeah.
No clue. Yeah.
Crazy. Yeah.
Bro, that is nuts, man.
Yeah, bro.
So in the industry and everything, and just in our world in general, where sex and stuff like that is so casual.
Yeah.
Hard topic switch.
Crazy.
But
We just went to body counts real quick.
real quick, bro.
Let's talk about sex.
Real quick.
Yeah.
No, but it is. I mean, whether you're on TikTok or like listening to like whatever music is out in mainstream and stuff, it's just so casual and like whatever. What is your advice to like young men and young women who are trying to stay pure and keep their virginity?
Yeah. I think there's two problems. So problem number one is we do treat it like like Christians do treat it as if it's like this unpardonable sin and you're scarred for life, right? So we do that to where people are like, once they fall, then they just say, forget it. There's no hope. I might as well just keep falling because I've already blown it. But then the other thing we don't do is we don't talk about the spiritual realities of it. And so what I would encourage people is to understand, like just to put it in context, in like ancient Rome, when you go inside of a pagan temple, you are going in there to do like crazy stuff to worship a false god. And God created his temple. And if you weren't right when you went in his temple, then like you would die, right? So being in his presence was such an amazing thing that like people had to build this temple and altar and all this type of stuff because his spirit and his presence was so powerful. What I don't think people realize is that now we are the new temple of God.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So like his spirit is dwelling inside of you. And what sex is literally saying, let me go worship a different God inside my temple.
Yeah.
Right? Like, let me walk into the temple and bow down to a false God. And it's crazy because God's spirit is literally there. Like, wait, no, this is not what this temple's for. Like,
Yeah.
this temple is for worship. And there's a way, sex is a beautiful thing in worship, in like the worship environment. So what I would say, in order to stay pure, one, know the spiritual realities behind it. And then number two, I would say this is probably the last thing I'll say to it, is like, you got to understand there's a difference between pleasure and happiness. Like, you're thinking that pleasure is going to bring you happiness, and it's not. Like, it feels good, but pleasure can also like destroy you. It can make you depressed. It can, create all kind of problems for you. Like, you never see a drug addict on the corner who's like, the pleasure of this drugs is just giving me so much joy and peace and happiness.
It's two different things.
Right. And so sex is pleasurable, but it's not. But outside of the way God intended it, it's not going to bring you the happiness that you want. So
That's good.
I would just say, man, don't take it for granted.
If I could chime in even on that, I think there's so much shame around this topic too, and this might be a hot take, but virginity does not equal purity.
Yeah. That's right.
Like, I think that we have made it so taboo and not talked about it and been afraid of the humanity of it. And because at the end of the day, like, if you lust after a woman with your, like, in your eyes, you've already committed adultery.
Yeah.
And then and you could have never been in bed with anybody else. And I think that we have put so much emphasis on the virginity side of purity that we have shamed everyone that, one, already has had sex and maybe come to the feet of the Lord after that.
Right.
Or two, that might, and then they're like you said, it's like the deflowering. Like, we treat virginity specifically, it's the only thing we consider to be like this. We put it on this different pedestal of purity, where it's like anything outside of covenant that isn't pleasing to the Lord is considered pure.
Yeah.
Like,
good.
holiness is holiness, purity is purity. Like, if the eye is the light of the body, let me keep my eye pure. Like, it's not just what I do, it's what I let in. It's what anything that isn't like him is impure. And so, like, I think that, and it's purity is like less about the actions of the hands and more of the posture of your heart.
That's it.
Because David is like, they call him Jesus, son of David.
Yeah.
And he's the pure one that was the man after the Lord's own heart. Yet David was such, like, I'm just gonna say, he was a hoe. Like, David was a hoe. Like, David truly was really
was in the
outside.
street.
He was out there, bro.
He was outside.
He was outside.
In his old age, David, to see if King David was still alive, they would send virgins from the city up to his room.
That's right.
And if he slept with them, they would know that he was still alive.
Yeah.
Yet
Crazy.
it's Jesus, son of David.
Right.
Like, because his heart was pure. What is his response to his sin? In Psalms, it's like, Lord, give me a clean hands and a pure heart. Like, let your spirit not depart from me. Like, that's what made him pure, was the fact that he cared about what God cared about. And when you put the Father's heart at the forefront of everything you do, purity will follow. And of course, a byproduct of that will be like, my body's a temple. And the other person involved is a temple as well.
That's right.
Purity will also help you see other people in the lens of Jesus.
That's right.
And so obviously there's like physical repercussions of like the virginity thing and everything, but it's just like, when you reach that point in the Lord where you're like really, like, you feel like the Lord is gaining ground in your heart when it comes to the purity of your body, specifically for young men and women, like hormones rage and everything, like, you'll realize it's even bigger than virginity. It's like, where's my heart at when I look at my sister in Christ? Like, where's my heart at when I look at my brother? Like, we're all guilty of it. I'm not saying anyone's going to be perfect, but we are called to be faithful. And so I just want to release anyone from any shame that has like, because some people talk about virginity and it's like, oh, great, you're talking about it now. And then some people talk about virginity and it's like, they feel so much shame in this area, right?
Yeah.
And so it's like it's truly grace and mercy that'll keep you in that area and recognizing like the gift that is repentance, the gift that is purity, the gift that is Jesus, to be able to walk in it.
That's real rap, man. I love how you put that, and I think it's important in anything, right? Like sin is sin, and look at it like that. But it's like if you haven't slept with anybody, that's amazing, and there's going to be unique gifts that you'll benefit from that. If you have slept with people, then God is still compelled to rescue you, to love you, and to continue to use you. And he will turn beauty. He'll make beauty from those ashes.
He redeems.
Exactly. So, there may be some consequences. Like, that's just the reality of life. There's always earthly consequences, but don't think of it as like God doing some kind of punishment to you. You know what I mean? It's kind of like if you're I don't know, if I'm outside jumping off of buildings and I break my leg, that's not like God, like, I told you to stop jumping off buildings. That's what happens when you jump off
There's
buildings.
real world consequences.
It's real
when
world
you sin,
consequences for that. So
100%. All right, let's bounce back to the music. Hard topic switch. What's your favorite album you've ever dropped and why?
Dang. People ask me this, and I had to go back through my catalog, because it used to be Gravity, but now it is Anomaly. Like when I go back and listen to the songs on Anomaly, I'm like, I forgot this was on there. I forgot that was on there. I forgot this was on there. So it's almost like I did a versus battle for my own albums, and Anomaly came out on top.
So that's fire, bro.
Yeah.
What?
So that cover art is fire.
Oh,
cover art
yes,
is
dude.
Shit.
That is sick.
Yeah.
Who do you think is your favorite artist you've worked with?
Favorite artist I've worked with? It's not Andy Mineo for sure, because he takes forever to get stuff done. He nitpicks to the death.
Really?
Like, oh my gosh. It'll be like over one line, he'll just critique. He probably has like 50 million songs that will never see the light of day because he just doesn't think they're any good.
That's
crazy.
So he's rough because he's such a perfectionist.
He's got bars though.
That's why he's great at what he does, because he really.
That's his thing,
but sometimes you got to steal the music from him and just put it out. Because I'm like,
Send me that Dropbox.
Crazy right now, man. I'm trying to think. Like generally it's like people who are just super creative and they can just like do anything. I would probably say, man, that's tough. It's a toss-up. It's a toss-up between, like, this is a weird toss-up, but it's between 1K Few and Tori Kelly. 1K Few just works fast.
Crazy.
He works fast.
He's the next up for anyone out there
He
watching.
writes
You gotta tap
nothing.
in.
He just goes in the booth and just starts rapping.
That's crazy.
And
That
just like,
Atlanta just
comes.
mindset.
So I actually learned how to do that from him. I was like, hold on, man, let me stop writing stuff down. But then Tori Kelly, she can just do everything. It's just like when you have an artist who can just like, they write, they play, they sing, they could just do all the things.
Two opposite sides of the spectrum.
Yeah, that's the craziest thing about it. Who I want to work with, and we plan on doing it, is John Bellion, because
that'd be tough.
because he's a mastermind when it comes to
100%.
music, and so I know he's done some stuff with Andy. He did, like, him and Tori they're working on her stuff. But it's funny. I sent him a record one time. I was like, "Yo, John, I think you sound really dope on this. What do you think?" He said, "Bro, I respect you too much to jump on a track. We're crafting something from scratch." And I was like,
That's crazy.
I said, all right, well, I guess I'll just find someone else to put on this song.
I'm actually really excited.
Exactly.
I didn't expect us to end up here.
You know what I mean? So
That's fire. I love that.
Okay, do we want to do another deep one, or should we just hit like a quick one,
man.
and then, because I know you got.
Yeah, we got to rap. We got to rap.
Should we rap or do one more?
Let's do one more.
Okay, one more.
Go for
Let's
it.
do 18.
Yeah. Have you ever met anyone that you were like starstruck by, like someone you were nervous to meet? Like craziest person to you?
Man, I've met everybody. I don't know if anybody ever had me struck. I'm trying to think.
Like, what would be the closest to it? Like a little story time.
Dang. I mean, I got crazy stories. It's funny, but I'm trying to think of like feeling starstruck. I mean, I think. Oh yes, okay, I do.
Okay.
So I was thinking because I remember I met Jay, Beyonce, Drake, Kanye. None of them ever starstruck me, but Michael Jordan had me, fam.
Yeah.
Really?
Michael Jordan had me. It's so funny because, like, you know, I met him through a friend of mine who, you know, he's like a manager for other artists, but he used to play in the NBA. So he invited me to this, so we got an invite to Jordan's birthday party. So we're at Michael Jordan's birthday party. And it's funny because that's the first time I met Beyonce too. And when I met Beyonce, she thought I was a basketball player because I'm like 6'4".
Yeah,
but I didn't know
you
she
can't
thought I was.
see. He's hiding his legs under the
Yeah, I didn't know that's what she thought. So I was like, "Hey, how you doing, Beyonce? I'm originally from Houston." And you know what I'm saying? I said, Lecrae. She said, "Oh, okay, yeah, it's good to meet you, man." And then I was like, "Yeah, good to meet you." She said, "I hope you have a good season." And I was like, "Yeah, me too." You
just,
you know what I mean?
You
Like,
just take it at that point, bro.
It's
moved on.
Beyonce.
Yeah.
so.
But then with MJ, it was funny because MJ, you know, he was a little saucy. It was his birthday. And so he puts his arm around my shoulder and he said, any friend of his is a friend of mine. Whatever you need, you let me know. I got you. And in my brain, I was like, all the Jordans ever. That's what my brain was thinking. I was like, how do I finesse this?
Right.
But I was so starstruck. I was like, oh my gosh, Michael Jordan. Right.
That
He's
is
like telling me. Like, I was like, yo, this is
That
wild.
is
So
crazy,
yeah, it was
bro.
super wild, man. That was super wild.
Doesn't somebody go here? Like his, yeah.
Word?
Yeah, to
Yeah.
this campus specifically.
That's crazy.
He owns the morning. He lives out this way.
Shout out to MJ, man.
That's
Shout out
nuts,
to
bro.
MJ.
That's
Shout
so
out
crazy.
What if he slides tonight? He's like, I
Yeah.
told you
He's just at the
anything.
concert.
I told you anything
I
you
told
need,
you
bro.
I'll
anything.
be like, bro, listen,
Check out back, buddy.
Right.
all I need is a lifetime supply of J's,
Right.
and I'm good.
Every
You know what I'm
drop.
saying?
That
Yeah,
GOAT
for real.
discount code.
You know what I'm
real.
saying? Just that's all I need.
Yeah.
That's it.
Be
That's
straight.
it.
Oh, man. Well, thank you so much for doing this, bro. For real. We want to get you out of here, get you a sound check, everything.
Yeah.
Other than the tour, obviously, which there's a whole another leg of it. Like anything else you want to plug before?
Hey man, no, I'm grateful. You know, Church Close 4 is out. Please go support that. It's been a blessing and a blast to be with Doe and Elevation Rhythm. You know, if you know about them, great. If you don't, go blast their music.
Tap in.
Shout out to my man KB. He's releasing new music, and his book is out called Dangerous Jesus. So go get his book. And
Heck yeah.
that's it, man.
I love it.
Bro, that's fire, man.
Yeah, for sure.
That's it. That's a
Real.
wrap. Feel good.
Love.
Yeah, it's great. Just dude, you gonna be somebody's Bible teacher.